Yes, boys, welcome to the Graft Kings Community. In this community, boys, you are going to be joining a bunch of other like-minded individuals just like you. Within this community, boys, we are going to focus on three main areas: your dating life, growing your mindset, and building on your network.
Focus number one, boys, dating. We've been in your shoes before. Dating isn't easy. We might make it look easy, boys, but this is through years of experience of trial and error. What we're gonna teach you is invaluable. We're gonna fast track you boys into a position where you have key confidence to speak to any woman on earth.
Focus number two, boys, networking. We're going to connect you with like-minded individuals that want to level up just like you do. We're going to provide you this in this community. We're going to give you the opportunity to create your own brotherhood. This community is the key ingredient into adding value to your life.
Lastly, focus number three, mindset. So if you want to level up your dating, want to level up your network, want to level up every aspect in your life, it all starts with mindset. We're going to teach you how to believe in yourself. See you in the community.
Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the Graft Kings podcast. We are back here in Moo Kent's hottest nightclub, and today we are doing double standards between men and women in 2024. Bit light on the ground tonight. We have not got Marcus Aurelius with us. He's got work commitments. We've just come back off a very, very heavy weekend. It's bank holiday weekend here in England, and we are filming on Tuesday, which is not our normal night. We normally film on Mondays. And Merc couldn't switch certain shifts around, so unfortunately he couldn't be with us tonight. But
he actually had a date, innit?
he actually had a date with a girl in there.
What was his name?
What was his name?
Hopefully you don't miss him too much, because we know that he's a chatterbox normally on the pod.
Yeah.
He's going to watch his
Can't
back.
shut him up.
We definitely need to get a little cardboard box for him, innit?
We should get one, yeah. I think he's had the most absences on the pod.
What's that?
He's had the most absences on the pod. Is that what absences?
Absences.
Absences. Is that what?
60% absence.
60% absence. And if we take into all the accounts he hasn't spoke, 90% absence.
Yeah. That's a fair point to you.
Fair play to you. So one thing we want to address before we get into the swing of things, is we just had a very heavy weekend. Luckily, we had a lot of time to recover from it, so we're actually not feeling that rough today. But what happened on that weekend was very mind-blowing to us as individuals. We got invited to an event, basically, which you'll see soon. We're going to have a vlog coming out on Graft Kings TV in the next few weeks, or it might come out before this pod, who knows. We got invited to a party in London, 2 parties in London, and when we arrived, we was all caught off guard a bit, because the reception we got was so unexpected and so unfamiliar for all of us. We couldn't really comprehend what was going on. And I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, because at the end of the day, I always say this, the stage we're at now, I think we're on 8,000 followers on Instagram.
For what, Instagram?
8,000 on Instagram, 50k TikTok, and 3,500 YouTube subscribers.
Infancy stage still.
Yeah, we're in infancy stages still. We are still, in the grand scheme of things, absolutely
In
nowhere.
startup mode, and what like business terms, still in startup phase.
Yeah, exactly that. We're in a startup. We're nowhere near where we want to be. We're happy where we're at, but we're nowhere near where we want to be, and we don't consider ourselves as known or anything of the sort.
Yeah.
So to experience what we had to experience on the weekend was fucking crazy, man. We walked into this gaff. Everyone was on a good energy, first of all. Everyone was a nice person. Everyone was showing love. But the amount of people that we had come up to us throughout the night was so overwhelming, I couldn't actually relax. I couldn't let my head down.
Surreal.
It was very surreal.
We spoke about this. It was almost like an imposter syndrome, as if like, why all of these people coming over to us? But
Yeah.
I expected some sort of acknowledgement, but not to that level.
Yeah.
Exactly that. And what threw me off guard the most is this event was mainly, I wouldn't say mainly influencers, but it was a very influencer event. There was a lot of faces there, a lot of TikTok people there, a lot of Instagram people there, people that are quite well known within the youth nowadays.
Yeah.
So being amongst these people who have got 10x of our followers, and yet we was the one that was getting mobbed all night, was very surprising. I didn't expect it for a second. And what it was, we've said this in the Graft Kings TV video that we've done, it solidified it for all of us that this is now what we want to do, 100%. Not that we didn't want to do it before, but now like we're like, oh fuck, we're actually making an impact.
Recognition for kind of what we're doing is almost
Yeah.
like we're getting like the back end.
It's being
of that,
reciprocated by the wire. I said this yesterday, but the why we started this pod. In any business, in anything you do in life, you have to know your why, because your why is your purpose as to why you're doing it.
Yeah.
And that is your main driver to carry on through the shit, through the hard times, when you don't want to do it, when you can't be arsed, when you're tired, when you don't feel well. You have to then revert back to thinking about your why am I doing this? And that will be your motivator, your driver to push you through and carry on pursuing what it is that you want to do. And
Yeah, facts.
And Saturday showed us our why is so unbelievably fucking powerful, and the energy that we had reciprocated back from our why just confirmed for us even more that like our why is so powerful. Because we are genuinely, and again, I'm saying this from the most humblest of places, and I'll speak on behalf of all the boys when I say that, is that like we're only now getting this information off the back of what we're being told, so it's not just coming from us. We are actually changing people's lives.
Which is fucking nuts for us to say, because I still feel like I haven't got any of my shit figured out.
Yeah.
I don't. I genuinely don't. I genuinely believe I don't have my shit figured out. And I've said this in many pods. It's not like I've just made this up. I genuinely don't think I've got my shit figured out. I don't know if you lot can say the same. I don't think I do.
No one. Who
does?
have
Yeah, that's it.
All figured out.
Yeah, I don't.
The point is that you set goals, you think about where it is you want to be in the next 5-10 years, and you strive towards that. And we're talking back. Everything that we talk about on this pod, authentically, we're ourselves.
Yeah.
So we talk about things that we've experienced ourselves within the past 10 years. We don't look at, obviously, you look at society and everything around you, but essentially, we've lived everything we're talking about.
Yeah, of course.
So it's like everyone will look at the next 5 to 10 years stages of their life and be able to look at where you want to be. And I think we know which direction we're headed, which is why, to some sort of respect, we've got a leg to stand on to help people that are a lot younger than us. To how to kind of channel that and understand where they want to go.
What was made is like we've somehow made it into schools.
Yeah, wow.
That fucked me up. When I saw them kids all in their lunch or whatever, all shouting us out on their story, that I was like, what the fuck's going on, bruv? Like, we've not even hit like big numbers yet.
Mate, we was getting goosebumps all weekend.
All weekend. I mean, you were going to each other, bruv. I've got goosebumps, bruv. What's going on?
Before we when we got back to the hotel, I was like, bro, what did we experience tonight?
And do you know what's crazy is, so we went to this first party, it was mainly influencer kind of like vibe. So I was thinking, we was going to another party after, and after party, and I was like, well, at least we got that out of the way, we can go and enjoy our night now. We've got this other gaff on the other side of London, bear in mind. They're in 2 different directions, 20 minutes apart. Went and got there, I was like, okay, we can let our hair down now. Because I like getting fucked up in the night. I'm not going to lie, I like letting my hair down and just getting into the mix. I couldn't really do that in the first party because I was conscious of, I've got to like talk to people and interact with people. And you don't want to like look like a fucking sausage, do you know what I mean? So I was thinking, I can go to this next one, let my hair down. Walked in the next gaff, exact same thing happened.
Bear in mind, it's very dark and you can barely see anyone.
And we had people from Manchester coming up to us, bruv, that were out and going, are you them boys in the pod? I'm like, what's going on, bruv? I was like, what is happening? And I dread to think what's going to be like. By the way, this is coming from a good place. I'm actually like, what's the word? Not thankful.
Grateful.
Grateful, yeah. Very grateful for everyone that come and showed love.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But I'm dread to think what it's like when we're actually doing big numbers.
Well, it is like how you see it. It's like when people do get mobbed. I felt overwhelmed that night in terms of like, I was like, well, I couldn't stop talking because I had to talk to people. I had to give people the same energy that they were giving me. Yeah. And that was,
Who said this? Oh yeah.
And rightly so, right? You boys that are coming up to us, and obviously girls, but the guys that are coming up to us and wanting to chat to us about life and tell us about how they can relate to either us as a group or individually, where some of your stories will relate to you, Aussie's will, Merck's will, mine will. You're expecting that same level of energy as you're giving us. And cool, but someone that we met with on Sunday explained it in a cool way that, like, although we might be exhausted from doing that, and I mean that in a good way.
Yeah, but I just want to make clear, we are so fucking grateful.
Yeah.
Like, this is exactly
what
we've strived towards, dreamed of.
Right, absolutely.
So like, we're not saying it from the negative space. This is a positive.
It was just like, wow, that was overwhelming. It was like, but we did. We kept up the energy. Like, we didn't really step foot back inside what they called the VIP area. We didn't really step back in there. We stayed outside talking to everybody, meeting everybody.
Mingling, yeah.
Yeah, like we wanted to meet and chat to you, otherwise we wouldn't have. We'd have gone, fuck this, like I'm getting away. That weren't what we're about. Everyone that met us Saturday night will vouch for that we stayed outside. We went outside in the smokers area. We stayed at the bar with people. We mingled. We got phone numbers. We got into it. Like, it was fucking wicked. But we did come away from there exhausted, and then we had to kind of do it all again. And like a friend of ours explained it pretty well to us on Sunday, and he was like, don't forget, every interaction that we have is their first time meeting us, but although you might be the 80th person that we spoke to that night, you're still expecting that same level of energy as the very first person that spoke to us. And so
Rightfully so.
Yeah, rightfully so. And that is what we will make sure that we always bring you. So yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, no, we appreciate every single one of you that's come over to us, and that's from people that actually did come over.
And you are the reason why we did do it. That is literally it. That you are. There's no other. Why else were we doing this? Like I said in the last pod, if you watched that, I said we didn't make profit. We still haven't made profit. We didn't make any money for the first 13 months of doing this pod. So why else would we be doing it? Because we're doing it because we want to give back something, especially to the young boys. We want to look as we always say we're not mentors. We're not mentors, but we could maybe serve as an older brother of some sort. I don't know what that kind of looks like, but I know that what we're now providing is valuable because people are actually telling us to our face, "Wow, you actually are sorting shit out for it."
Yeah,
for me.
quoting everything we say in real
in long form content.
Long form content.
So
that's not on reels and.
That's what
stuff
really
like
shook me is that like the boys were quoting some of our earliest pods, and they were talking about specific topics of conversation that we spoke about or experiences that we had spoken about personally and gone, I went through something similar and I didn't. I'm like, wow, even I can't remember talking. Obviously, I know the story, but I can't remember talking about it on that particular pod. And yeah, like I think we've got the best fans in the world.
I do.
Yeah, facts.
I do.
Do you almost feel like you've got like this sense of responsibility now
do
to
now.
give
I
out
do
like,
now.
the right message? Because now that if people are that influenced by kind of not just what we say, but if they're relatable, they're going to look at that and go, well, now I want to do that in that certain type of scenario. Does it make you think that you need to start kind of what's the word, like not scaling yourself up, but like leveling up almost?
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying. Yeah,
I get that.
Now you feel like I need to, like you've got more of like a responsibility now to not just make this pod work, but to grow as an individual yourself, and able to give back more.
Yeah.
The more you learn, the more people listen, the more you give back. So it's like a little cycle.
And also, there's a sense of expectation now. Like they're on the journey with you. They want to see you grow. They're only tuning in each week once to get a bit of value and also to watch you on your journey succeed. So like, I feel like there's pressure now. Like I'm like, all right, now I need to step it into the next.
You know what? Basically, we created is like a brotherhood between us and the viewers. Like that's what I feel like it is.
And do you know what? I tell you what. We'll always be honest with you, and I'll always be upfront. I was half expecting someone to say something neggy.
Yeah.
Because that's always going to happen. We're expecting that. That's going to happen eventually. It didn't happen that night, but that is on the cards. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in. We don't live in an ideal world. Someone at some point is going to pull us up on something and say something negative towards us.
Try to get a reaction.
Try and get a reaction. You're not going to get one.
There's people like that.
Yeah, there is.
That's not personal.
And I was there was moments that night I was thinking, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And you know what? It didn't happen all night. And everyone showed love. Everyone. It wasn't a moody environment at all. No. Everyone was cool. Everyone was showing love all night. And in fact, I just want to say thank you to everyone for coming up to us, man. But
I hope you boys know, like off back of what I said then, that I hope you boys know that everything we talk about, like we've always said from the beginning, is only what we've experienced ourselves. Like we're not here to tell you trying to how to get rich, because none of us are rich. So we never talk about money. We never talk about finances because we've not made it yet. We're still trying to make that buck. But life experiences that we have endured and experienced, we will talk about. And one thing I tell you now is I will never, ever, ever give you advice or tell you to do something that I myself wouldn't go and do.
Yeah, facts.
Like if I wouldn't tell you to step in that door if I wouldn't step in there with you or step in there first. And I'll say the same for all of these boys. We will not give you advice to go and do something that we haven't one already done or two would definitely go and do.
Facts. And to add on top of that, like no matter how big we get, no one will ever tell us what to do. No one will ever tell us to divert this pod into a certain different way. We've said it from the start. We are in charge of our own edits. We say what we want, when we want. We put out what we want to and what we want to talk about. No one tells us anything. So don't want anyone ever to turn around and think, oh, these boys have got to a certain point, they're too big, or like they're not talking about what they used to. We literally just talk about and say everything that we want to authentically ourselves. And forever, the Graft Kings go on as long as it's us. It will always be the case.
And it always will be us.
I agree.
No one will tell us what to say.
No
I love what you said there, Ozzy. No one will tell us what to say. And do you know another thing someone said to us? They said on the night out, what someone said in my ear, said, you boys are saying everything that everyone's thinking that everyone's too scared to say.
Someone else said that to me, bro. Facts.
Because I don't give a fuck, bro. I don't care. Like, people are scared of what their jobs, or people are scared of what their family might think. People might say what their pit. I don't care. No. I'm telling you how I genuinely feel and how my boys genuinely feel. Because I know these conversations are happening off camera, and if they're happening off camera, people that don't want to be on camera, I know that other people are thinking it. Do you know what I'm saying? Just like random topic, but like no one wanted Sadiq Khan to win the London Mayor election. Yeah, that motherfucker still won. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I know people might not want to speak about politics on their we try and stay away from politics. I'm not going to lie to you, but that's one thing I won't shut up about. He's a prick. But my point is, we will. If I know there's a conversation happening off camera, I know there's other people wanting to talk about it on camera, but they won't want to talk about it. And like as he said, certain things people have to keep their mouth shut about because that's their livelihood. And I do get it. I do respect it. I understand, like, if you say certain things, you're going to lose your income. I do get why you're held to ransom. But we're trying to build something where that's never the case for us.
Yeah.
We're trying to create something right now where...
Bring back speed... Sorry, bruv, go on.
No, but I was going to let you... Yeah,
I was going to say bring back free speech, bruv.
Yeah, bring back free speech, because people are very worried and they've got to tiptoe around what they say because of potential sponsors or potential anything that endorses them, where we're going to try and create something where that never happens, so you always get the truth.
Yeah.
Do you know what? That kind of leads into what this pod is about. Double standards.
Okay.
It's right for certain people to talk about certain narratives and certain topics of conversation and really push their agenda. But yeah, if you try and swing it the other way, you're shunned upon. You can lose your job now. For
I know you
wrong
can,
thing
yeah.
from someone.
We've got to be very careful with this conversation.
Of course. So I'm not going to go down that route, but I'm just saying that we can then... That was just a nice transition.
You know, it's funny you say that, because I'm saying, like, we will never stop saying what we want to say, but unfortunately I can't say certain stuff because we'll get kicked off YouTube for saying it, which is shit. But
we've got to be careful.
We have to be careful. But
the double standards we want to talk about in today's day and age is the standards just between men and women in 2024. And again, this will only come from the conversations that we have when we meet girls and we meet guys, and we have these conversations when we're out in the smoking areas, on holidays with people that we meet, etc., etc. And we find two of the biggest, like, double standards today is, lads, you want a really nice girl, you want a homebody, you want a girl that you take home to your parents, one that's going to, be a really good mother to your children, and yet you bring fuck all to the table. You don't look after yourself, you're lazy, you're not well groomed, you're not well educated or self-educated for that matter, even for that sense. You're just not bringing anything to the table. You don't know how to have good chat, you don't have good conversation, you're down the pub all the fucking time. Like, you don't have a good sense of humour.
no hygiene.
No personal hygiene. Like,
Dirty trainers.
What good woman is going to want that? If a woman's got high standards for herself, that's just not going to happen. And then the same on the other side is, a woman today wants a really good man that's high value, that earns good money, that's well educated, but whatever that's in school, or self-educated, got a good job, goes and grafts every single day, looks after you well, holds the door open for you, slaps your ass on the way through, whatever the case may be. And yet you're out there wearing next to nothing in a club on some next man's table, fucking throwing bottles and that about, taking your shoes off and like acting like something that you shouldn't.
304.
Right? But yet you want then him to come pick you up and be all right with you being out in these situations. It just doesn't fucking work, mate. Both ends of the spectrum. So that's what we want to talk about.
Yes, guys, I hope you're enjoying the pod so far. Just another little cheeky favour. If you could hit that subscribe button, we would appreciate it. Now let's get back to the show.
You're 100% right. I think
we can speak mainly from the boys first.
Yeah, well, it goes both hand in hand, but I've always said this, like, it's what do you bring to the table for you to believe that you deserve the person in front of you? Like, before even judging them and obviously saying, I want yada, 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 you need to focus on you.
Yeah.
So before you have a checklist, what is your checklist that you're checking off on yourself first and enable to attract someone?
You know what? That's fucking really... Like, now you just said that out loud, it kind of come to a realisation of my own journey. Maybe the whole reason I stayed single for so long and have stayed single for so long is maybe because I walked away from my previous relationship and maybe identified loads of flaws that I had in myself. I've just thought about that now for the first time ever. Like, I'm thinking,
just gonna say that.
maybe fuck. Because I know that when I was with my ex, towards the back end of it, I turned into a fucking useless piece of shit. Like, I was...
At least you're honest.
I weren't the man I was, bro. Like, I look back at photos of me, I'm like, what the fuck happened to you, bro? I've got out of shape, stopped self-grooming, like shaving my body and stuff like that. I know some men don't shave their body, but to me that's the thing. Like, I like to have my body shaved because I go to the gym and I want to show off my muscles. Anyway, self-grooming, not getting my hair cut as regularly, eating junk food a lot. Like, I was eating pizza a lot, bro. I was loads of pictures of pizza in my fucking photo album. And just like loads of stupid shit, like not dressing that nice and just loads of things. I was thinking, who did I become and why? And I never used to be like that before I got in the relationship. So I'm not blaming the girl I was with, but I'm just saying I wasn't like that before. So what was that happened? So then maybe when I walked away from the relationship, I did level up. But maybe I've stayed single for so long because I've been so focused on leveling up since then because I don't want to become that man again.
Yeah.
That scared the life out of me. When I look back at photos, I'm like, fuck me, bro. I was such a bean. Like, they come up my Snapchat memories today, actually. And there's videos. I was actually going to send them to Merc, because I think that's the night I met Merc in 2017. And you should see these videos of me, bruv. I'm in gallery, bruv, and I look like an absolute pest, bruv.
Big bean.
Oh, bro, I'll show you after the pod, bro. It's bad. And what you just said is maybe that I left that relationship and looked at myself in the mirror subconsciously and thought,
I need to go to work.
if I want to get someone better, not that the girl I was with was a bad bird, but maybe if I want to like get a higher echelon of woman, I need to put some work in to build myself up. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think the moment you realise that is the moment you're in a very strong position.
Yeah.
Because essentially a lot of people wait for people around them to pick them up, whether it's a family member or a relationship, to almost show them a certain way to go down. But I don't think it quite works like that, especially for a man. Like, at least like to some sort of respect, a woman like can be looked after by a man, but I don't feel like it's the other way around. Like, in respect of like, no one's coming to save us. So you know, like, once you put yourself in your mindset in a position of no one is coming to save me, you have no choice but to level up.
But you know what? I feel like when someone says no one's coming to save me, that lights a fire up inside of me. But I can understand why that would, to some people, make them feel like, well, no one's coming to save me. What's the point of even trying? Which is obviously the wrong way to look at it. But when I come to that realization, no one's coming to save me, maybe about 4 years ago, I was like, fuck me, if I don't actually pull my finger out, like, nothing's going to get better.
So what in your minds are, though, boys, like, from a male perspective, in your minds, I suppose you can base it on the type of woman that you would like to have in your life as your life partner. Do you feel as though you need to have personally or bring to the table for you to have that woman?
Something that I have or something that I need to?
Both. Like, so, because you wouldn't have had what you have now, let's say 5 years ago, in terms of the man that you are and what you can bring.
Yeah.
So what have you done, like you say, that you've got now, but have worked towards having that, or now you've created a certain habit for yourself that you now do, like Yo just said, like that is like, oh, that's just one thing I like to do because that's just the way I like to look. Like, what have you developed in yourself, in whatever, it might be a skill, a mannerism, or something that you've done and worked on by yourself?
Oh, I know what mine is.
To attract the woman that you want, that you think that she wants.
I know what mine is.
Go on, say yours then.
I've definitely learned how to converse better. I didn't know how to channel my
same.
emotional thought process, because it would come out very aggressively.
Yeah, same.
Whereas with my ex, I don't think I knew how to communicate. I can hold my hands up and say, like, there were certain situations that would stem from her. Let's just say hypothetically. Not even hypothetically, it did. But I never knew how to react. Sorry, the way I would react to it was so negative that would kind of put me into the wrong way. Like, if I knew how to have the conversation about it rather than argue about it, then maybe 9 times out of 10, like, I wouldn't have been in the wrong. So I didn't know how to kind of just channel my energy and have a conversation about something rather than getting angry towards it. And now, like, I can't think of anything worse than like sitting in a room with someone and arguing over the dumbest shit that could be resolved over a conversation.
I agree, man.
So I grew up with 7 women, so I've always conversed. I've always spoke about my emotions. Like, I've never been shy to do that. But it's not just about being open to do that and being emotionally available. It's how you speak to people that's very important. 9 times out of 10, it's never what someone says, it's how they say it that's important.
100%.
And that, to me, I made it like a trigger thing in my head to, like, not. Still, it can happen, of course. I'm only human. I can get pissed off and say shit. But
Sure.
it's understanding where you've gone wrong in that and perfecting that is like the most important thing. And that's definitely something that I've done moving forward.
Nice, bruv. It's a big thing, that is.
Yeah, it is.
I feel like it's
that
massive,
is
yeah.
proper, like, that is sheer and utter, like, self-reflection and personal development. That's not easy to make to make a change like that.
I'd say mine's much more accountable for my actions now. I'm so more accountable. I now believe everything's my fault, rather than before I'd always try and find a scapegoat for the reason why, the way I felt about stuff. And the situations of how my life was, I'd always maybe think, oh, well, that's because of this, or that's only because I've been brought up in this environment, or that's because of the people. I'd always try and justify it in my head. The reason why I am where I am, or the way I feel like I feel, is because of everything else rather than myself. Now I take full responsibility for absolutely everything, good and bad. Good. Anything negative happens in my life, it's my fault. Anything good happens in my life, it's my fault. This is my universe, and I'm in control of how everything works out. And the minute you start taking responsibility for everything, the minute your life starts getting better.
Facts.
So that's one of the things. I'm self-accountable, a lot more self-accountable.
Nice, bruv. That's massive as well.
Yeah.
That's
like, even that conversation,
that's massive, bruv.
Even that conversation we had earlier off camera about, like, saying, I'd rather... Actually, I'm not going to go into it. No, I'm not going to go into it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Move on to it. It's fine.
Don't
You
forget,
always do that, you know
don't
that.
forget.
Yeah, I just realised where I am.
shouldn't talk about this.
Yeah,
You forget the cameras.
Yeah,
I
I feel like I'm on my sofa at home chatting to you lot. And I go, oh, maybe I shouldn't say that. It's not that I don't want to keep secrets from you boys, but some things I like to keep private. That's all. That's why.
What's nice as well is that obviously I've witnessed that.
Yeah, I bet you have. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I'm
I
more-
can say that about a lot of other boys, but like I can say that about I've watched that over the years for nearly 20 years. That's nuts when I say that.
What about you, Mace?
Cool.
Here we go. He's got a checklist.
We're gonna let out some demons now.
How long you got, boys and girls?
Fuck's sake.
Strap in.
Do you know what? One of the biggest things I've learned in a self-development type thing, and again, this is very good for a woman as well. On the other side is, I don't take anything personal. So,
See, I need to learn that.
if
you
she's had a bad day, or let's just let me retract that. If she's snapped at me, rather than me, or she says something shitty, or attitude changes, rather than me just have a bad reaction to it, I will first think, hang on, has she had a bad day? Have they had a bad? What's gone on? What's happened? So rather than take it personal and think they're just going at me, or whoever, having a dig at me for no reason, I'll try and find the root cause of that. Rather than take something personal and think, oh, do you know what? I'll fuck you and throw my toys out the pram, and get the ump about it.
That's
difficult. Right?
yeah, that's hard. I can't. I've got to learn that.
Yeah, like how people are is generally, and this is actually a bit of a motto for everyone that you meet in life, is generally how people treat you is a reflection of their own life rather than what they actually think about you. Like if they've had a bad day, a real shitty day, or whatever the case may be, rather than then getting angry and shitty back, like say I walked in the front door and she was sat at home and I'd had a bad day and I walked in, I was like, you're right. I'll try not to be like that. I'll tell her first. I'm quite open about how I'm feeling. So if I'm having a bad day or a shitty day, I tell you so that you can expect the level of interaction that you have with me is not going to be how it normally is.
Oh, see, I'm gonna have to disagree with you there. I would try and keep that separate. With you lot, I wouldn't tell her.
Oh no, I wouldn't tell her exactly. I don't need to tell her what's gone on, but I'd be like, listen, by the way, I'm fucking stressed out. So either my replies are going to be slow, or I'm just an FYI.
I think that goes back to managing expectation style. I feel like by you saying like, listen, I'm going to be a bit short tonight because I'm fucking got a lot going on doing stuff, but don't ask, I'll be fine in the morning and sleep on it. I think that's probably the most appropriate response. I wouldn't probably dive into like...
I would go to the details.
No, because...
Don't need to.
No, you don't need... Why? Yeah, that's a good point. Why? Unless it directly involves them in some kind of way that's detrimental to their life, I don't see the point of even involving them in it in the first place.
I agree.
Yeah, but
And especially, I was going to say, especially is nearly every problem, thank God, nearly every problem I have, normally when I wake up in the morning, it's not a problem. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. Yeah. Luckily, I mean, I know that's not the case for everyone, by the way, but I'm just saying I'm in a very grateful position at the moment in my life.
So yes, that'd be it. Don't take things personal.
I agree, but just adding on top of that, I remember I wrote into the comments the other day off the back of a reel we made, and I was like, it's okay to like explain or let them understand like what the situation is, but don't make it their burden. So like,
spot on.
It's okay to, we're not saying don't talk to your partner about stuff. You can obviously explain it, but then I think don't make it their problem, don't make it their burden, because I do think as a duty, it's your duty as a man to be able to resolve that.
Your missus will walk away then as well and be like, oh, fucking hell, I'm exhausted now. It's like, I'm dealing with it and going for it. Why do I need to unload all of that onto you as well? I'm stressed because of it. I've got loads going on at the minute. That's as much as you really need to know. Like, let me just deal with it. You just need to carry on being who you are with me 100% of the time, rather than now matching that sort of energy when I've made it clear that it's not you, it's just I'm dealing with shit going on.
Yes, boys, if you're wondering how does the Graft Kings pull Ratleys in the summer, this is part of the plan. With clobber like this, we are partnering up with Moody. They are an online fashion retailer and our new partners, guys. They've got 20% off on all orders. All you have to do is go to their website and type in Graft Kings at the checkout area.
Women, you don't. I swear, women don't get this. Men are such simple creatures. Such simple creatures. Like, as long as you are a man's piece, like the last thing he wants if he's had a stressful day, when he walks through the door, is you to then start nagging him or start fucking going on at him about this, that, and the other, and about, oh, this weren't done, or this. It's like, mate, he's just walked through the door at work. Like, chill, ask him how he is, how your day was, tell him a funny story. Like, just chill and chat with him, or just
just be at peace, just be chilled. Sometimes silence is bliss. Like having comfortable silences with someone can be everything.
And it's crazy, like when women turn around and say, like, I need a man that can handle me, and I'm just like, handle you? Like you want me to handle you? Like, look at how difficult the average man's life is compared to a woman, and that might rattle a few people, but it is because we have the pressures of like wanting to take care of people around us. I'm not saying women don't. There are a lot of single mothers out there that hold up a household and respect to those women. But essentially, like as a man, if you look at like any man that is self-respecting and that wants to build himself up to be a certain level, he will have his family first that he wants to look after before anyone. Women technically go, I've said this before on pods, right? I'm independent of anyone when I'm an independent woman now when I've made my money. I don't look at it as I'm independent of anyone. I look at it as who can depend on me around me that I can look after. I look at my kids, I look at my mum and dad if they need it, and my family, my siblings, whatever it is, you want to be that person that does it. So
100%.
I do think it is a lot more difficult for a man than it is for a woman in this day and age.
Especially in the Western world.
I agree.
So
There's so much responsibility on us now.
So much pressure.
But I do kind of thrive off of the pressure, but that doesn't change the fact that it is a lot of pressure. It's a very awkward,
It's a very real thing.
uncomfortable pressure because you feel like I've got to provide. But that is your responsibility as a man. And I'm not going to say unfortunately, because I think we're very privileged to be men as well. I like the feeling of being a provider. I like one of my main goals is like when this blows up, I want to look after my parents. I want to.
We've always said that.
And do you know one of the things we always have cameras? Well, this is going to come to a shock to a lot of people who watch this. If I was financially sorted, like proper sorted, like I mean, like in a very, very comfortable position, I would have kids now.
Yeah, so would I.
I would have kids now. The only reason I haven't had kids now is there's obviously a big reason. I don't have a woman to have kids with at the moment that I feel like I would want to have them to be the mother of my children. That's obviously one key factor. But say I did. Say a woman walked into my life today, I'd still be quite uncomfortable with having kids right now because I don't feel like I'm set up yet. I'm not where I need to be yet. And that's quite it's quite an emasculating feeling when you don't feel like you can provide. But that's why I'm constantly grinding because I'm trying to level up to get to the point where I can provide. So if a woman walked into my life right now, I still wouldn't be comfortable doing it. But the fact that what I'm trying to say is if I had loads of money right now, or even 2 years ago, bro, I would have had kids 2 years ago if I was financially set. I want kids. I want loads of kids. I love the idea of having kids. Yeah. But until I can financially provide for these kids and provide and look after my wife, my kids, my family, my mum, my dad, I'm going to keep grinding and keep grinding because I don't think I'm ever going to stop. But that is a lot of pressure. I understand that pressure must feel. I sometimes look at my dad, bro, and I'm thinking, my dad looked after the whole house on his own. Like, that's fucked. I know that's, again, a responsibility.
We only have to look after each other.
I know.
Like,
I barely do that.
Like, so you've only got to look after yourself.
Yeah.
And like, imagine like the responsibility of having a child is just like, oh, I can't even imagine. I mean, I know what it's like to have a dog. That's responsibility enough. Do you know what I'm saying?
Compare a dog to a child.
Well, I know what he's saying. He's saying
that is a responsibility enough, bruv. Like having dogs is like, or having I've had multiple dogs like at one time. That's hard work. That's finding someone to look after him. You got to get back to feed him. Like it is like having a child. It's like having a young child.
Yeah.
And dogs are hard, especially like when you've got working dogs. They are hard work. Like my dogs are working dogs. They are hard work, mate. They need exercise 3 times a day. They need runs.
Grow up, sorry. It's almost.
They're hard work, bruv. Like so. Imagine that times God knows how much, like millions and millions and millions. Like, and not only that, I've got that dog for 12, 13 years if I'm lucky, and it slows down very quickly as well. After when they get to like 10, they slow down. That kid is only going to get harder and harder and harder and harder. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Because then, as an infant, you got the troubles with it. Then they start going to school, and you got to worry about getting bullied and the education's properly, and make sure they have friends, and they don't, and then they don't get mixed up in the wrong crowd. Then, if you've got a daughter, then she starts getting mixed up with boys. If you've got a boy, you got to make sure he don't start doing drugs or start going out in the street, hanging around with the wrong people. Making sure you're a good role model to your son and to your daughter. Then, as they get older, make sure they don't start mixing with drugs and booze and getting in fights and all the stupid shit that we done when we were younger. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Which again is character building.
You know, it's so funny you say that, brother, because I look at some of the situations I've been in my life and I'm thinking, if my kids were in it, I'd have a heart attack.
I'd smack them.
Yeah, but we'd never know. Like my parents, if I had a video camera in my head and showed my parents, some of the but I've been in like certain circumstances around cartel and that, bro.
You don't.
If my mum saw
too much on.
Oh yeah, well, brother, I didn't put myself in the situation on purpose. But I've been in fucking situations with the cartel before, brother, and I'm like, if my mum knew I was in this, my mum would probably have a heart attack, bro.
I've been in some bad situations growing up. Like, it's everything you're saying is going through my mind. Obviously, like a little movie, Well, no, it's
No,
nothing,
well, it's not a secret.
It's nothing bad. Like I've been in trouble as a kid doing silly shit, but then obviously now, again, I'm going to let that dictate who I'm going to become, right?
Yeah.
Essentially, like you have two choices when that happens. You either carry on going down that path, or you look back at it and laugh and go, "I was an absolute muppet."
Yeah.
And it's the moment you start taking accountability for it is the moment you'll be able to change. So it's good for people to know that because
sure.
we're not perfect. Like,
We're still not.
We're not sitting here preaching.
I don't think I'll ever be perfect.
I don't want to be either.
No, the same. When I said about the cartel, I'm not actually directly.
Carlos.
I'm just making a very point here. I was in Mexico and I ended up in the situation I shouldn't have been in, and there was cartel involved there. But I'm not just making sure. I just want to make people thinking.
Shout out to the cartel.
Shout out to the cartel. Actually, we
That
actually
was alright.
Yeah. Anyway,
We're not going down that way. But anyway, but like, for example, like talking about the kids, for example, I think this is actually a good way for it to go on the double standards. Like, if you are, not all the time actually, because I've seen situations where the parents are just fucking scumbags and the kids have grown up to be like complete opposite of what their parents are.
Well, it's funny you say it. We said this in the pod before. Hold the thought what you were going to say. Nearly everyone, it sounds like I'm thinking about, nearly everyone that was really well done in school and well behaved and had their shoes buffed and their tie done up to, they're all losers now. And I'm thinking, you had probably had a good upbringing, but it's led you to nowhere. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I've always said that, well, not always said, sorry, I'll take that back. Especially as I've got older, is I want my kids to look at their mother and me as their role models. Like, and the way that I am with my future wife and their mum, and I want them to look at that. And when the people ask them about what their parents are like or what do you aspire to be like, I want my kids to turn around and say, I want to be like my mum and dad. Like, my mum and dad get up early in the mornings together. Like, I always see them cooking dinner together and making breakfast together and taking us out, and they spend time with us, and we go out and play in the garden, and we go and do shit together. Like, that's what I want, and I want my kids to then follow the same footsteps. So this leads on to becoming the person that I want to be, so that I know that I attract the right woman. Yeah, okay, look, like, we're not perfect, and we go out and we do stupid shit, but our morals in terms of us boys and our standards are exactly where they should be.
Yeah, we only do dip our toe inside that world. It's not like we're constantly involved in that world. Like, I was having a conversation with someone the other night, and I said, like, if I actually deep it, the only times I've been out this year is for work. I went out once for my birthday.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
We're in May. I've only been out once on a degenerate kind of spin.
Yeah.
Just going out with my mates and getting fucked up for no reason. Every other time I've been out this year has only been for work.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
I know it's a good thing.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is I feel comfortable with that because I know that there's a reason behind it. I'm dipping my toe inside of that out of that world now. I'm not just constantly going out just for the sake of going out. There's a sole purpose between why we're going out. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, I don't think you're following my point.
I do.
Okay, cool.
Yes, boys, quick interruption. You know what I'm going to ask for. Show us some love and hit that subscribe button, then go back to the pod. Peace.
All right, boys, let's talk about the other side of the fence, yeah? Would you not agree that a woman, when she's picking a man, she has basically a massive checklist and a shopping list compared to what a man might want when he's looking for a woman?
I agree, and I've said this before in a pod, actually. I said exactly what you said, and it's not... We've always get shunned upon when we say we've got a standard. Like, we say, oh, a woman can't have X, Y, and Z, and we're like, who the fuck do you think you are in the right mind to say a woman can't do this, can't a woman do that? But then, as soon as you ask them, they're like, I want this, I want that, I want 6 foot, nice teeth, good job, nice house, fucking everything. And you're like, hold up a minute. When I just say I want you to have low body count, I'm the most evil person on the planet. But then you've got, oh yeah, I wouldn't go with him if fucking...
Yeah, less than 6 figures.
I'm like, hold up a second, how can you even say that? Like, what the fuck is going on about? Another thing, like, why can't men have a standard? What's wrong with men having a standard? What's the issue with that?
We just get demonized when we do, basically, because it doesn't fit their standard of what a checklist should be.
Do you know my favourite one?
No, you should just accept me for what I am.
Because you know what it is? Do you know what I reckon it is? It's because when people are talking about what their checklist is or what their standards or their preferences, they're expecting the opposite person in front of them to have the same standard and checklist. So essentially the point I'm making is a woman and a man don't care about the same things. So a woman's preference to what she wants in a person and a partner is going to be far different to what a man wants. So a woman is allowed to ask for financial stability, for him to be charismatic, tall, funny, handsome, whatever it is. We don't really care about that type of stuff. As long as, for me personally, like, she's not been around the block and she's not slept with every Tom, Dick and Harry was the local bike. If it's important to us, we don't want a high body count. Take it or hate it, take it or leave it, sorry. That is a big preference of ours. Any self-respecting man wouldn't want his women to be with that many women. I mean, that's
that many men.
That many men, sorry. And it's subjective. Like, how many people you sleep with is subjective to the individual, to what you deem as high. But
Agreed.
to me, if I have a certain number in my head that I don't want it to be over, why would I want a woman that is beyond that?
What's your number?
2.
I got pressed on this on a pod before what my number was. I just said, look, as long as it's not double digits.
Yeah, I mean, look.
Go on. Why are you making the face? Back what you're saying, bruv. Why is that an issue?
I think it depends on her age.
No.
I really do.
There's no-
I think that definitely comes into play a little bit.
Why
Without
does
a doubt.
I don't think
It does.
No, it doesn't.
So I think you're trying to break it down statistically,
Yeah,
aren't you?
yeah, like-
say if hypothetically
Yeah.
she's 30 and she's been single X amount of time, she's slept
And
with
she
5
slept with,
people.
and she slept with 10 blokes.
Why has she been single so many times?
She might have really high standards.
So high standards she can't hold down a man.
You've been single. I've been single.
I'm not trying to hold anyone down. Women are looking for relationships. We're not. Women want relationships. No, I'm not saying, obviously, there'll be the odd few that don't. But I'm saying majority of women I come into interaction with want relationships.
Yeah, but there are the exceptions of like women that have just been completely fucked over.
yeah, I get
Do you know
that.
what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
of course.
But,
Yeah,
okay, let's not
of
take the
course,
minority.
yeah.
So yeah, that's my fault for taking the thing. Look, in my eyes, if like I'm 29 now, so I mean, if I met a bird my age and she slept with 8-9 blokes,
That's fine.
you know,
It's not fine. I mean, like,
you know that's
that wouldn't be a deal breaker for me.
even if she slept with 10 blokes, I'd be like, you know, if she started saying 15, 18, I'm a bit like, okay, no, that's
There's no way.
yeah, there's no way.
There's not even nothing.
no
There's nothing
way.
you could say to me to convince me otherwise. I wouldn't fuck.
No, same.
Nothing. There's zero,
Be
honestly.
happy about it.
Nothing. You could look like...
Doesn't matter what you...
Yeah,
You know who I was going to say. You know who I was going to say. I didn't even say it.
You're so
That's so funny, bruv. That's so funny.
predictable.
I just know
I'm
you,
so
bro.
predictable, isn't it?
I just know you, bro.
Anyway, you could look like that person, and if you had 15 kills, I still wouldn't wife you, bruv.
Yeah,
that's
facts.
game over. That's so funny,
And
bro.
I think it's even worse when someone does care about that, but then they just kind of brush it under the carpet and pretend like they don't. I think that's one of the worst things
I'll come
you
back
can
to
do.
haunt you.
yeah, it will, yeah. 100%.
So like, point being is like, if you have a standard and there is like a certain standard you want in someone, do not ever drop that for anyone, because I would very much rather be by myself than kind of settle for something that I didn't deem enough worth settling for. If that makes sense. Like you'll never. And this is another thing. A lot of people say to me, "Oh, you're the age you are. Why aren't you in a relationship? Why aren't you married? Or why don't you have kids?" Well, maybe I haven't met the right person, and I'm not in this like mindset of fear and traditional peer pressures to want to go, oh my God, I'm hitting a certain age, therefore society is telling me I need to do this, so I'm going to do it. No, mate, like I'm happy by myself. I know if it's meant to be, I'll meet the right person. If I don't, I'll be the uncle at drunk weddings and getting litty. No problem. But a lot of people just drop their standards and they settle, and then they're unhappy, and this is why they end up cheating down the line, or their relationship just fuck up down the line.
Do you know why women sometimes
They're on a
settle?
timer. Again, women, I get it.
I
Do you know,
know.
I feel for you women because
I know
they're
why.
on a timer.
Women have a biological clock.
Yeah, you do have a body clock, girls. We get that. Like, trust me, we do understand your frustration. Well, like, I'm speaking about us boys, like, not talking about every male, but please do not use that as one and as an excuse, and two, for what these other fucking skanky women out there say that it's okay to be like. Do not drop your standards because of those reasons. Like, we don't agree with what the other influencer guys out there in the world deem that it's okay for boys to be like and treat women. That's why we tell them to talk to you properly and respect and etc. etc. So don't listen to these plonkers out there that say it's okay to go and be a hoe and act like this and do this, that and the other. It's not cool. It's not cool to be single at fucking 45, 50. No one wants to be that. Everyone wants to have a partner and have a family and raise kids and what have you. So don't drop your standards for what these other people say is okay, because it just ain't.
And women need to be a bit realistic as well. I'm sorry. But they know that they've got like a bit of a biological like time clock, and then they go, oh no, my 20s are for me to just fuck about and do what I want to do. But then you get to your 30s and you start panicking, and then you start settling. It's like, what is it you actually want? Because if you do want to live your life and you want to party, you want to go to all these places and get chopped and do whatever, do that. I don't really care. Like, do whatever that's going to make you happy. But don't, if you know like deep down that you want a family, you want to do that, you can't have best of both worlds.
I agree.
Like, I don't think you can spend all of your 20s, and I'm not saying you have to marry someone straight away, but you need to, it's like someone was saying, like, if you want a good woman, you need to start essentially like build like what am I trying to say before? What am I trying to say, bruv?
I don't know what you're trying to say.
Like before like you get that woman, you need to put yourself in a position to attract that person, right? So you need to start acting and thinking in that mindset, and a woman needs to do the same. So if you want a man to take you seriously, you need to start acting like a homebody, and like you need to start thinking in the family and like a
Maternal.
in a maternal way. I mean, that's either in you or it's not, but you need to start like kind of transitioning yourself in that mindset in order to attract that type of man. Because if you're just on about going out and getting fucked up all the time and going to these places, you're only going to attract a certain type of man, and most men that want that type of woman are not in that environment looking for you. And I'm not saying like it's easy to find these people, but essentially if you're going to the club every weekend, you're not going to find your husband in there, because he's not in there to find a wife. He's in there to chop someone and move on. So essentially, if you can't attain a guy, maybe change the environments you're going into and start thinking from a maternal perspective and more from like a family perspective, and think about what it is you really want.
You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, that leads on to a point I'm talking about off camera. I was taught by my mentor, and my mentor was my old boss. He was my boss for 6 years. Incredible guy, I love him to bits. And he taught me in both your professional and personal life that, and I still believe it, is perception is everything. So the way that you present yourself to other people, whether that's a mate, whether that's a potential partner, to your family, in a business meeting, whoever it is that you might come across in life, how that person perceives you will determine the relationship that then continues on past that point. So if that person perceives you to be a dickhead, it's not going to go anywhere. If that person perceives you to be a good person, a genuine person, that relationship is going to carry on, whether that's, like I say, a friend, business, or a potential partner. So when I was younger, like I said, I was a bit of a nightmare. But I've still always had a heart of gold. And my boss drilled that into me. He was the owner of the company, the director of the company, sorry, and he drilled that into me. And he was like, Mace, he's like, look, like perception is everything. We know who you are. Like, just think about things before you say them, and think about things about, before you act and stuff like that. And I did. And I had to do a lot of self-reflection. And I've carried that with me now for the rest of my life. And so I'm very conscious now about how I act in front of people, and how I'm still authentically me. But, sometimes you might play up a little bit, or might do this, that, and the other. Like, read your surroundings, read who you're in front of, and your social profile, for example. Like, your social profile carries a lot of weight nowadays as to who you are as a person. So have a little reflection upon that and think, okay, actually, and as you've changed, I've changed very recently, and I've tried to change up my Instagram and things like this, and to reflect more of the person I've become. But just think about that little saying that perception is everything in terms of how you want to be perceived to other people. Did that come out right?
Yeah, subjective to the individual, as I said to you earlier, though, isn't it?
Correct, it is. Some of you might think we're dickheads.
Thank you.
Don't care. Still got the view.
That means you've got the wrong perception of us. So
10 perceptions wrong. That's true. Do you remember when we had Darren on the pod, and I said to you guys, I actually didn't realise I was classed as short until about maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. So the whole way through school and stuff, no one ever called me short. When I left school, never got called short. And then all of a sudden, I just started getting called it. Like, not like all the time, but someone would make a reference about my height. And I was thinking, am I short? And then I realised I am a short. I'm actually technically not short by standards. I'm 5'8", but still I'm technically, compared to all you lot, I'm still short. Do you know what I'm saying? It's never actually come to my disadvantage. It's never stopped me being able to pull women. It's never caused any detriment to my life at all. But I come to the realisation I'm shorter than all my peers. So I tell you a double standard that I come across recently. Women have now, some miraculous way, decided that they want tall men. They've said, I want to go over 6 foot. And they can say that as much as they want, and then go, I want to go over 6 foot, I want to go a tall guy, that I'd never get with a short guy. That's fine. That's your preference. You're allowed to have that. However, as soon as a man says, I don't want to get with a fat girl, oh my God, you can't say that. Oh my God, you can't be fat phobic. Oh my God, you can't say that about women's body. How comes you can judge a man on his height, something that he can't control, but a man can't judge you on your weight? Something that you can control. That bugs the hell out of me. Because if I start saying, I wouldn't get with a fat girl, or she's too fat, I wouldn't get with her, I'm an awful human. But if the girl goes, no, I won't get with him, he's too short, it's okay. That's fine.
Yeah, you are very right, bro. I'll give you that.
Why is that a thing? Yeah. That is a double standard that I'd never been able to understand.
Yeah,
facts. Spot on, bruv.
Yeah.
That boils down to 90% of the time, I'm gonna just put that in there, pure laziness.
Yeah.
That's all that is. That's for guys and girls. You are lazy. and that is it.
Yeah.
Whether you really won't want to admit that to yourself.
Yeah.
Have you lot seen that thing?
But you are lazy.
Have you lot seen those videos on TikTok where they kind of test this in the public? So a guy will turn around and say to a woman, "Does height matter?" or something along those lines, and she's like, "Yeah, it does." Then he pulls out the scale, puts it on the floor, goes, "Get on." Then he goes, "Then like, would you be okay to
Again, that's subjective.
would you be okay to weigh yourself?"
Yeah, it is because
Size is subjective to
It's
the
subjective.
individual.
What do you
yeah.
mean?
So in respect of someone might look at, I'm not saying a size 14 is fat, by the way, but someone might look at a size 14 or a 16 and go, "That's obese," and someone might go, "That's a bit of me."
Well,
So,
I'm talking
yeah.
about clinically.
Of course.
Yeah, okay, I hear you. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I get it.
I get you,
100%.
yeah.
Yeah, there was a guy doing that. It's funny.
I agree. Why can't we do that? Why can't you say that?
And like you said, by all means, if that's your preference and you want a tall guy, fair play.
Yeah,
but
fair play. That's it. I ain't got a problem with that.
Guys don't care.
We don't care.
Yeah.
It still hasn't ever stopped you or stopped us from doing
I've
anything
never
that we
ever.
wanna do.
I've slept with girls taller than me.
Yeah, same. And I actually even said, like, as long for these man, if I was 6'2", I wouldn't be with these lot.
God had to humble us, bro.
Yeah.
If I was,
He did have to.
if I was
I've
6
always
foot,
said
bro,
this.
if I was 6 foot, bro, it wouldn't be fair on anyone
It
else.
would not
bro.
be fair.
I'd clean up now. Imagine if I was 6 foot.
I'll
It
stop.
would-
Yeah, I wouldn't even be friends with you, bro.
You're lucky I am friends with you, bro.
It would be long for everyone, bruv.
Yeah. Merck said that the other day. He goes, "It's long for everyone." Come on. You had to humble me, innit?
You had to humble us, innit?
I'm coming in. I'm gonna have a conversation.
I'll humble you both in a minute. Carry on. What is your main takeaway, or what is your one closing statement to the boys?
I think personally, if anything to take away is before you start going off of your checklist of what you want in someone, create your own checklist. Put yourself, kind of have like this out of body experience and look at yourself sitting and go, what would I change about this person today? What is it I need to do to level up? How can this person be better than who he is today? And you don't need to have it all figured out, but every day if you're doing something that you believe is better for the better, that's 1% better every day.
Yeah, banging.
I don't have anything to add to that. That's exactly what I would have said. Something along them lines. I'd just be regurgitating in a different way. That's perfect.
Yeah,
And that's for men and women.
100%.
Men and women.
Yeah.
100%.
Think about the person that you want to attract and what they would like to see in you, and then try and become them.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
That was good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was good. Felt like a therapy session.
Yeah.
Everyone got a weight off?
Yeah.
We've now got to go and do Ibiza and Napa.
What do you think, Merck? You're right, bro.
That's so funny. You've not said anything all that.
Guy,
I
forgot you were there, Merc.
Bro, come on, just say something.
Yeah, that's mad.
Yeah, that's mad.
Yeah, banging. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. Actually, two things. Mason was meant to wear the shit hat tonight. We won't go into this pod why, but next pod we'll get him. The only reason we didn't do it is because Merck's not here to Merck was basically trying to push it on him all weekend.
And you got it.
He got it in the end. Rightfully so.
But I think I figured out why he should have worn it. But we'll talk about it next
We'll talk about it next time. We're about to embark on this is the start of summer for us now. This is it.
Yeah.
We're-
This weekend was it, yeah.
We
Oh,
are now
mate.
in the midst of summer. We've got Ibiza in 24 hours.
Yeah.
Aussie's got Iron Napa in 48 hours.
Oh, yeah, Napa. Scream.
He's going away Party Hard. If you didn't know, we have now partnered up with Party Hard. Also, we've just partnered up with a clothing brand called Muti. You might have seen it in the ads in between the videos. They're an online fashion retailer selling high-end clothes. Stuff like your Casablancas, your Versace's, your Burberry's, Gucci, everything. So, listen, boys, we want you dripped out for summer. We've got you 20% discount code as well. Use Graft Kings on their website. We'll link it all on the screen at the moment. And then, hit that up if you want to be dripped up for summer looking fresh, boys. But yeah, you've probably seen the ads throughout the video anyway. But yeah, I just thought I'd close off on that. So, a lot's happening for us. So, we're going in the right direction, which is good.
And all of it will benefit you some way or another.
Yeah.
So,
And we appreciate every single one of you.
yeah. Recap back on Saturday. Love to see you all, boys. Can't wait to see you at the next event. Till then, keep grafting. Be you. Be a gent. Subscribe to the YouTube, please, before you do anything else, before you click off this video.
Like.
Leave a comment in the comment section.
And we'll see you in the next.
Peace.